fan because I called his coming out fight against Bradis Prescott.
He's
and
special.
then various other stepping stones throughout his career.
I also think he's one of those guys that if you tell him he can't do something, he wants to show you and shock the world.
1,000%. Absolutely right.
I also think Canelo is slowing down.
I didn't give Canelo more than like 3 rounds.
Yeah.
Maybe 4 if I'm just being generous.
You know, becoming the first undisputed world champion in the 4-belt era in 3 different weight classes. Really, and the way he did it, and you know, the class that he showed.
Joe Rogan reacts to Terence Crawford's victory over Canelo Alvarez, stressing how Crawford thrives when people doubt him. He explains that every time critics say Crawford can't rise to the occasion, it fuels his drive to silence them. Rogan highlighted Crawford's slick technique and pinpoint accuracy that allowed him to display his power on the sport's grandest stage. He believes this triumph secures Crawford's spot among the most elite fighters today. Bondhill tweeted, "I'm now convinced Crawford would beat any version of Floyd Mayweather." That bold take reflects how highly his latest win is viewed across boxing circles. Beating Canelo has elevated his legacy, making many wonder if he could even eclipse Mayweather's undefeated mark. Crawford's dominance through multiple divisions and his ability to adjust mid-fight are why this opinion continues to gain momentum.
Get ready to subscribe totally to that because, again, you're talking about somebody who is stubborn.
And for sure.
Who wants to prove everything he can prove.
100%. I agree with that too. But I think there's in boxing and certainly in MMA, there's a certain amount of years where a fighter can keep the RPMs up. And you know, when they're in the red line, and there's some people subscribe to the idea of 9 years. There's 9 years is the most that a elite fighter in MMA has performed at their prime. I think that's a bullshit number because I think it's entirely dependent upon lifestyle, nutrition, discipline, physical attributes. There's a lot of factors.
George Foreman won the heavyweight championship of the world in boxing at age 45.
True, but he took 10 years off.
Yeah.
Commentator Gareth called Crawford's performance one of the most extraordinary the sport has ever seen. He reminded fans that Crawford jumped up 3 divisions to fight Canelo while being older, and returned after more than a year away from the ring. Even under those circumstances, Crawford displayed brilliance, patience, and control that few fighters have ever matched. Gareth urged that this should be recognized as a once-in-a-lifetime showcase of greatness, proving Crawford can rise above all challenges. Shakur Stevenson wrote on X, showing respect to Canelo. He said too many fighters avoid risks, but Canelo never backed down, always willing to test himself against the best. Stevenson's message underscored that true greatness isn't just about victories, but also about daring to face the toughest competition.
Throughout the course of the week, we said that this is a game of IQ. There's going to be movement within the fight. You're going to have to answer different types of questions and bring different types of game plan. Crawford did that. He was able to do it backwards, he was able to do it forwards, he could trade in the pocket, catch the stuff, and then counter. He was absolutely magnificent. Listen, I know this is raw and we've only just walked out the stadium, right?
10 minutes ago.
And when the dust settles on this, we'll probably have better answers and better thought processes. And I'm sure people watching this will get stuck into the comments and maybe say what I'm about to say is quite outlandish. That might be the single best performance that I have ever witnessed live. It was absolutely tremendous. You've got to take into consideration the weight jump. This is a man that was champion at 135, 140, 147, and obviously recently at 154, but let's be honest, he even jumped up to 154 pounds for that. To go then up to 168 and take on the former pound for pound #1 king on a Mexican holiday weekend in Las Vegas and managed to beat him on the cards when the judges tried to do him, mate, it is out of this world what Terence Crawford just did. And he needs all the flowers in the world, he needs all the praise in the world, and I don't think you're wrong, mate, by saying he's the pound for pound #1. It's an ever-moving list. That performance alone deserves to put him right at the top of the
Yeah, he's become. There's an argument that he becomes an all-time great with that performance, like you say, because the majesty, the poise, the presence all week, the pinpoint accuracy of everything he did in there, to the fact that in the end Canelo was frustrated and knew he couldn't do anything to Crawford, and he started
visibly frustrated, wasn't it?
No, visibly frustrated that he started to do a weird kind of showboating because he didn't have any answers for what was happening and unfolding in front of him. I think Terence Crawford has rubber-stamped himself as an all-time great tonight, and I want to revise a view on him I wondered whether he would have been capable of beating Floyd Mayweather at welterweight.
Oh, you're going for it now, aren't you?
And I think, yeah, we got to. I think he may well have done.
Paulie Malignaggi stressed that Crawford had pulled off something historic. Becoming undisputed in 4 different weight classes is rare, and the way he did it against Canelo stood out even more. Malignaggi drew comparisons to Floyd Mayweather's reign, calling this the dawn of Crawford's era. His perspective made clear that the result wasn't just another win, it represented a real power shift, placing Crawford at the forefront as the defining fighter of this generation.
Flawless. I mean, Terence Crawford has had an amazing career against a lot of very good fighters and world-class fighters, and honestly has barely lost a round. When you look back at Bud Crawford's career, there is something really special. It's one of those things now, because now I've now seen back-to-back generations of Floyd Mayweather and Bud Crawford, and man, you know, it's one of those things where now I understand why the people that lived in the Ray Leonard era say, you know, wish we could see Ray Leonard against Mayweather, and how that would be. Because it just leaves such an empty feeling when you have such special fighters that were in different generations, and you saw both of them. You know, I saw the entirety of the Mayweather generation. I saw the entirety of the Bud Crawford generation. Just incredible. Really incredible. And I know Mayweather gets a lot of hate, but for me, he's a tremendous fighter. And Terence Bud Crawford is in that realm as well. And it's a fight we'll never get to see. So what are we going to do, you know? It'll be up to the fantasy fights, you know. But let's get into it, man. You know, I want to get into the undercard as well and some of my thoughts on the Netflix show. But let's get into the main event first. Crawford really boxed very well, very intelligently. The question mark was what happens when Crawford gets hit cleanly. I'm not sure he got hit cleanly the whole fight. You know, he got hit with some partial shots. Some shots landed cleanly, but by the time Canelo started landing anything cleanly, I think he was hesitant because he was getting countered so much that he was taking some of the steam off the shots in order to hope to be more accurate. Because even late in the fight, there were a couple of shots that Canelo landed, but they barely moved.
Devin Haney's reaction captured just how one-sided Crawford's performance was. He dismissed the idea that Canelo had much success, saying he couldn't give him more than 3 or 4 rounds total. Haney's take was both an analysis and a statement. It highlighted how clear Crawford's dominance appeared and hinted that even a young star like Haney now sees Canelo as no longer the unstoppable force he once was.
How'd you score it, Devin?
I wasn't scoring. I didn't give Canelo more than like 3 rounds.
Yeah?
Maybe 4 if I'm just being generous. Maybe.
Are you shocked or not?
Hey, right here to my left.
Are you shocked or not?
No, I'm not shocked. I knew that if you kind of fight.
A fan tweeted, "True competitors are always champions. There is no defeat in chasing genuine glory. Congratulations to Terence Crawford and Canelo Alvarez. The warrior spirit triumphed tonight." This message reflects admiration for both men, showing that greatness is measured not just in winning, but in bravery and commitment. Bill Haney argued that Crawford's dismantling of Canelo looked even easier than his win over Errol Spence. He claimed he had foreseen this result, once again praising Crawford's brilliance. His stance emphasized how effortlessly Crawford controlled the fight despite Canelo's resume. By comparing it to the Spence bout, Bill underlined how Crawford keeps neutralizing elite rivals while making each victory appear more dominant and decisive than the last.
Result.
Exactly. And you guys knew what was going to happen. You were in denial. That shit looked easier than Earl Spence. Didn't look, huh?
It's a brilliant performance. Brilliant performance.
Man. Shout out to Team Crawford, Bo Mack, and that whole team, man. You know what I mean?
Where'd you rank him all-time list after that?
I mean, put his face on Mount Rushmore. You get what I'm saying? He deserves his place, for sure.
Did you score it, Bill?
Yeah, I scored it a lot for Crawford and a very little for Canelo. If any. I don't know.
116, 112.
I don't know. I mean, I could pick one or two. I could pick one or two in there or something like that.
I know it's straight after the fight. But do you want to see Crawford go out on that, or do you think there'll be a rematch?
No, I don't hear a bunch of parties going on. I listen. It sounds like a funeral home in Allegiant Stadium. Did Crawford win? It sounds like it's a funeral home. Look, you see over there. You see it's quiet. It's quiet as shit. Yeah. Is it a holiday or what? Oh my God. Oh my God. Listen, that's a Crawford fan. He's Mexican. Now, listen. Hey, y'all know what's up. Crawford did it. And only person that's talking is me. November 22nd. If you don't want to hear nothing else, Crawford is great. November 22nd.
Another fan tweeted, "Crawford is older than Canelo and past his prime. Bud beat him straight up. No catch weight, nothing. He lost to a guy moving up 3 divisions. No excuses." This reaction captures the weight of Crawford's triumph, stressing that despite being older and climbing multiple weight classes, he still proved superior. It leaves no justification for Canelo's defeat, framing the win as one of the sport's greatest feats. Analysts added that this battle wasn't only about titles, it was about legacy. The idea was simple. The winner would be hailed as the best of this generation. With Crawford's victory, he claimed that crown. Experts emphasized how brilliantly he executed the plan, shutting down Canelo's weapons while displaying his full arsenal. The debate shifted from whether Crawford belongs among the greats to deciding exactly what—
You need rehydrate, you need this. No, you don't. If you're actually a man who is willing to, challenge himself and not a little boy who's afraid, then yeah, you can do it. You can absolutely do it. And Terence Crawford did it, and he did it damn well. Credit to Terence Crawford. Absolutely. Honestly, I'm still... Because for me, although I was picking Canelo Alvarez to win this fight, and although I've been a fan of Canelo Alvarez for many, many years, he was one of the main guys who got me into boxing. I have loved Terence Crawford, loved watching him fight for years and years and years. I remember staying up at the time, and I actually made sure to get the HBO feed to get his fight with Victor Postal. I remember, it wasn't one of his more entertaining fights, but I remember just being just in awe of the skill and ability of Terence Crawford at the time. I remember Bob Arum, they're both run by Top Rank, when people were saying, oh, could Loma fight Terence Crawford? And Bob Arum said that would be suicide. It would have been suicide, could you imagine? Good Lord. I can't put into words how happy I am to be proven wrong, because I love watching Terence Crawford. I think he is phenomenal. Absolutely phenomenal. And it's really fitting, right? I love Canelo Alvarez, right? But it's really fitting that at the top of boxing, we have 2 of the most honest champions, honest men you could ever see, you could ever imagine. And that being Alexander Usyk and Terence Crawford, 2 friends. And I think they really sum up this era of boxing. If we are coming to the end of it as a whole, I think they really sum it up that if you're dedicated to your profession and you're willing to stay disciplined and you're willing to...
Returning to Joe Rogan, he reacted passionately, saying Crawford has proven himself the better fighter over Canelo. He explained that Crawford is not only a sharp puncher, but also possesses the mindset and adaptability of a wrestler, making him even more dangerous. Rogan stressed that Crawford's leap in weight and domination of such a difficult opponent was remarkable, likening it to historic milestones in boxing. In his view, Crawford accomplished something beyond what Hagler ever achieved, sealing his status among the sport's elite with a flawless showcase.
That is Majumab's really good.
Yeah,
he's really fucking good.
But I just think Crawford is, it's weird to say against Canelo, but I think he's the better boxer, and I think he's the guy who can make the better in-fight adjustments if Canelo doesn't kill him.
It's going to be interesting, I'll tell you that.
What do you think?
I don't know. It's a big jump to go from 54, which was a step up from 47. Right,
now
so it goes to 54, and now
68?
he's going to 68. That's so much weight.
A lot of weight.
But Terence is, I think he's the best switch hitter since Hagler.
They claim Hagler was my favorite.
Meanwhile, one user tweeted, Jake Paul mocks lying weirdo Canelo Alvarez with a brutal slam after his loss to Terence Crawford. This shows how Paul wasted no time in taking shots at Canelo. The taunt reflected Paul's ongoing rivalry and his determination to stay in the spotlight by targeting boxing's biggest stars. Roy Jones Jr., one of the sport's all-time greats, declared that Crawford had reached a whole new level of greatness. He called him special, insisting that no fighter today can match him after such a display. Praise from Jones carried added weight given his legendary career. His words confirmed that Crawford's win was not just another victory, but a defining moment that permanently elevated his play.
I scored it kind of like they had it. It was a very close fight coming down to the last 2 rounds, but Bud put him out. And he fought very smart. He let Canelo wear himself down early, and then he started fighting late. Very smart.
Not many people gave Bud a chance, but he dominated in there tonight. Do you see anyone from this era beating Terence Crawford?
No, nobody's gonna beat him. Nobody's gonna beat him.
What makes him so special?
The fact that he fought on both sides, and he's a winner at heart. His heart is everything.
But the scorecard's right. 2 judges gave it to him by 1 round.
Yeah, it was close to a fight. It all depends on what you like. Well, if you like Canelo's aggression, you gave the Bud by like 1 or 2 rounds. But if you like boxing, Bud won by a few more rounds.
What should both guys do next?
What?
What should both guys do next?
I mean, Canelo probably got to go back and decide what he wants to do. Bud, if I was Bud, I would just be tired. Who's going to top what he needs?
And that wraps up today's video.